everyone, it's Lynnea for Scrapping for Less, and today I'm going to be making 7 Christmas cards using the Stocking Full of Joy from Your Next Stamp, as well as this Photoplay paper pad. It's called Here Comes Santa, and this is going to be the focus of my cards today. So I think it's a really awesome idea to make Christmas cards all through the year. There's so much stress and so little time when it comes to actual Christmas and as you get into December. So I try to make at least 5 Christmas cards every month. And so we're doing a feature at Scrapping for Less, and we're going to be showing you how to create Christmas cards all year long. So today I'm working with this paper pad, and I've selected a few of my favorite prints. And what's great about this paper pad is that there are like those cut up papers where you can just cut right on the lines, like this one here. I'm just going to cut this right, it's kind of like a grid, and you could go vertically or horizontally. I chose to go horizontal, but there is a sentiment that says joy, and that is vertical in that stamp set I showed you in the beginning. So you could definitely make these cards any way you want. So basically what I'm doing is picking some of my favorite patterns. I think I had 5 or 6 sheets of paper, and I ended up using everything except for 2 little narrow strips to make my 7 cards today. And it really didn't take that long, maybe a half hour to make all 7 cards. And I'm using just basic, simple designs. For this first one here, I stamped the Happy Holidays and white heat embossed it very quickly onto that little scene. I thought this pattern paper was gorgeous, and you can easily create a card just by gluing down some strips of pattern paper and then gluing that on top. And I did add some foam behind it for some dimension. So I'm doing something super simple and similar with this one again. I decided to go vertical instead of diagonal with my pattern papers. And so I chose 3 of different widths. When I cut up my papers, I didn't really measure. Some of them ended up being like 1/4 inch strips, 1/2 inch, and 3/4 inch strips. But some of them are all sizes in between. I didn't really measure anything. And all I did is just glue them down in different patterns with different focal images. And I'm going to come back to that design that I used with the first 2 cards to make a third one. But at the time, I didn't think I was going to use that image. And then I had extras left over. I basically just kept going with these cards until I had used up all my pieces of pattern paper. So now I'm going to make 3 cards that are pretty much the same. I'm using this grid paper that I had cut up, and again, this was the one that you could do vertical or horizontal. And I'm going to make 3 cards that are the same, but because I cut up that pattern paper, they're just a little bit different. So I'm taking the Happy Holidays stamp again from that Your Next stamp set, and I stamped it 3 times, 1 on each card. And so now I have 3 cards really quick. I glued some of the pattern papers together and then mounted them as one whole piece with some fun foam. And I'm just going to quickly add these to my cards here. I had a little smudge of ink on this one. So right now I'm rummaging around in my desk, and I got my Tombow sand eraser, quickly erased that ink, and that is it. 3 cards in probably 5 minutes, maybe 6 or 7, but super quick. So this is where I'm doing that 3rd card with that same design as I did for the very first one. I wasn't going to use the mailbox, but you can see over on the right there, I had all those little strips of pattern paper, and I figured, while I have them out, why not do it? So this is where I am basically using up everything that I have left, save for, you can see those 2 little strips of the grid paper over on the right. I didn't end up using those, but I used everything else that I cut up. And I'm basically using my grid mat and just making sure that I line these up straight. And you can see here that this is where I have all those varying widths of paper. Some are skinny, some are thicker, some are middle. And I am just using tape runner adhesive. I'm going to stick all of them down. And then this little Santa was from one of those other pattern papers, and I really loved him, so I had cut him out. And when I went to put him onto my card background with the pattern paper strips, he just wasn't standing out. So this is my trick. I glue him down onto a piece of white cardstock and then fussy cut around just like you would with a stamped image to give him that white border and help him stand out. I'm going to add that Happy Holidays sentiment. That's the sentiment that I used for all of my stamping today. And that's another thing that makes this card set really quick and easy, is that it's just cutting up some paper and gluing them down. And the stamping was super simple, just a sentiment here and there. Some of them, I think 3 of them, I didn't even stamp a sentiment. 2 of them, I didn't stamp a sentiment. So let's look at all 7 cards that I made today. And as you're looking at them, remember that you can head over to my blog or to the Scrapping for Less blog to see some still photos, and I will have product links for where you can purchase these items in the Scrapping for Less shop so that you can get a head start on your Christmas cards and relieve some of the stress that comes with the holidays. You will have a whole bunch of cards ready to go because this paper pad has multiples of these papers too, so you can definitely just cut up some papers and start gluing them together. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you next time. Bye.